What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more hard trance. We're back with another tune from the EDM label in Germany, classic 90s hard trance label, and this is a very special EDM record. The original version of this tune, called Hypnotizin, with an apostrophe at the end, not a G, is by DJ Mellow-D. Kristen Scharnfaber reacted to a couple of tunes from him already, made tunes on EDM not only under the name DJ Mellow-D, but also Mellow Tracks. I believe one or two other aliases, but those are the two that I know him through. And yeah, just, a top hard trance artist. I mentioned it before, EDM, the label has a slightly different flavor than, say, Time Unlimited or Noom at the time, but it was a very cool style, like a fast, energetic, and melodic, sort of epic hard trance style. But the reason this version is special, DJ Mellow-D shows up again on multiple EDM records. There's a Kakuma remix of a tune called Paradise by Mellow-D, also a cool tune, and Kakuma, again, it's two guys, I'm forgetting their names in the moment. But yeah, they're all over the Kakuma, or all over the EDM label. I have a couple records by them, although I did sell another one called District of Power, which, in retrospect, I lament doing. At the time, I was hard up for money. It wasn't like, I didn't want the record anymore. Regardless, yeah, bottom line, those artists are all over this label. But this record also includes a Nostrum remix. And Nostrum, those of you who know his work will know, Bernd Augustinski, famous for his tunes under the name Nostrum on Time Unlimited more than anything else, but he did make an awesome record under the name Nostradamus on Noom as well. He's also made tunes under different names like The Ape. I'm trying to remember, there's a couple others that are, lesser used aliases, but Nostrum is the name he's mostly known by. Made tunes going way back to the early 90s, but it's his tunes starting like 93, 94, and then for the next 4 or 5 years, right up until about the turn of the millennium. I think his last album is around the turn of the millennium. But yeah, for the next several years, he just made melodic acid trance. Acid trance with melody and emotion, as well as anyone. Bottom line, Pablo Gargano, Michael Kors, I've mentioned it before, they're like in a sort of like constant like two-way tie for my favorite acid trance artists from the 90s. But Bernd Augustinski, Nostrum, he's basically in that conversation too. If anything, he might be like, fighting for the like 2 spot with someone like, I don't know, Kai Tracid or something. Like, bottom line, he's one of my favorite artists. And again, he's known in particular for sort of epic, emotional, melodic acid work and acid trance. So it's interesting though to say that, because this tune is like a sort of fireball. It's like very fast, it's energetic, it's got a real sort of like driving, it's as if like the bass line in the tune itself is on fire, so it just has to keep moving. So it feels a little bit different than some of the tunes he's known for, like his most famous tracks. Now, to be clear, his most famous tracks on Time Unlimited, they do often have pace, and they'll have a really energetic section and so on. But yeah, this tune, it's like, it turns on the afterburners a little bit. Not only in terms of like, even for this record label, which is known for, again, a bit faster sort of hard trance, but certainly for Nostrum's catalog, this is on the harder, like faster end. So let's get it. This is Nostrum's remix of DJ Mellow-D's Hypnotizin. The record is from 1998, and it's EDM 33-1. Got a little fuzz on the needle. It is this one. I have 2 copies of this record. I remembered in the intro there's a recurrent pop in one of them. I only dug out one of the records because the other one wasn't next to it. I do if I have doubles. I try to keep them together. Not the case here. Evidently, this is the one with the skip, or not skip, thankfully, but the pop in the intro. I think we're good. But watch the way this tune just goes from this, atmospheric, suspenseful, something's coming, but listen to the way it just lights on fire. Little like a creaking synth, as I often call it. sounds like part of the track is like loose. Hello, acid. It's funny, it's a Nostrum tune. That acid work reminds me of like Mandala, like Commander Tom. Like specifically Mandala, which is Commander Tom with Ray Boy. Again, tension string just tells you you're waiting for something. The riff. Like the sort of fast, like mechanical hacks. It's like music's hypnotizing, everybody's hypnotizing. There's like 3 lines I think. I can't hear the first one. Or I can't make it out, I should say. That bass line. Bringing it back a third time, I love it. You could have ended the tune like before that. It still would have been cool, but this is like, it's a moment when you might catch some dancers on the dance floor sleeping. They're like, oh, it's a set ending, and then it just storms to life again. Nope. Again, the ambient intro despite one of my copies having a cyclical pop in the intro. It has an atmospheric intro and outro, meaning you could use it as a set opener or a set ender, and then because it has, sort of a long, extended, like 3, like drop, like chronology, you could mix in or out at any point during the middle of the set. So it's a tune that as a DJ is like very useful because it's, there's certain tracks that maybe they start really kind of loud and intense with a lot of different parts. It's not always easy to mix that in. Now you can find ways to do it. But there are certain tracks that lend themselves more to being a track opener, or a set opener, I should say. And there are certain tracks because of, maybe just how crazy and incredible they are and the way they end just like, smoking on fire, that like, you can't really put anything after that. So that's a track that would lend itself more to being at the end of the mix. But yeah, I feel like this one could work at any point across the span of a set. So once again, shout out to Nostrum, big fan of his work. Again, mostly, you know it from Time Unlimited, and to a lesser extent, a couple other labels. Like I said, he is on Noom for at least one record. But yeah, this is a really cool tune, and it's funny, back in the day, when I got this, it was because I was getting other EDM records, so I was like, oh cool, there's a Kakuma remix, and like so on. And then eventually, over time, I learned who Nostrum was, and it was like, oh man, like when I originally got that record, I should have been really excited about the Nostrum mix, which is funny, because this is kind of the track that I would play the most. But it was like, oh yeah, it's the Nostrum mix, but it's like, it's just a name, like it doesn't really mean anything, and it wasn't until later when I sort of, figured out who he was and his sort of heritage as being one of the true acid masters of the 90s. So, yeah, let me know what you think of the tune. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.